There will be some Hitman spoilers in this video, but let's be honest, saying you play Hitman for the story is like saying,
I watch porn for the acting, you liar!
The Hitman series has had a long and at times tumultuous history. But back in 2000, when IO Interactive released Hitman Codename 47, they introduced a new, slow, methodical game with satisfying results. Over the next few years, they at times improved it, and at other times, devolved it. So in 2016, they decided to launch a soft reboot to the series with Hitman. And despite a poorly received episodic release structure, it was an impressive and fun game, as was its sequel, Hitman 2. So here we have the finale of the World of Assassination Trilogy, Hitman 3. And overall, it's...
Nice. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
First, let's start with the good. The Hitman formula is back, and it works. Run around stumbling into opportunities to try and murder high-value targets without being caught. All the usual modes of murder are here. Garrote wire, poison, electrocution, silenced pistols, throwing wrenches at people's faces, and the good old-fashioned pushing someone off a balcony. And with 6 new locations, Agent 47 has much to explore. These new maps are vast, detailed, and beautiful. From the terrifying heights of the world's tallest building...
Where are we? It looks like we're in the teens somewhere.
Okay. But when we get to 20, tell me. I'm gonna throw up.
The seedy darkness of a German biker club,
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
to the serenity of a vineyard.
In the lee of a picturesque ridge lies a small, unpretentious winery, one that pampers its fruit like its own babies. Hi!
And in these locations, you'll do your best to plan the most effective assassination, though everything doesn't always go as planned. There is a fluidity to Hitman. Some events are planned, and they can be planned around. There are times that the target isn't exactly where you want them to be, or what you thought was going to be a silent murder is seen by everyone in the room, triggering all the guards in the area to immediately shoot and kill you. So yeah, look both ways before smothering an old lady.
What, kind of like this?
What do you think?
Elaine, what are you doing here?
And while all the maps are beautiful, my favorite is probably Thornbridge Manor. The vast estate has some of the best areas to explore, and many interesting story threads to follow, including one where you can disguise yourself as the detective and investigate a murder.
A donut hole in a donut's hole. But we must look a little closer.
This highlights one of the most important aspects of the Hitman games: choice. Many games like to say that you can play any way you want or approach each mission your own way. But in reality, it's more like you can choose one of 3 ways to do something, and ultimately the outcome will be exactly the same. There's so many ways to kill targets, it's likely many gamers will have their own exciting stories, unique to their playthrough. There are so many that it's almost just as fun to watch Hitman being played as it is to play it yourself. However, this vastness can be a little too much at times. For example, there are some ways of assassination that are so specific and nearly impossible to organically discover, they can seem as though they were devised if only to say, look how crazy this game can be. And that is not the worst criticism for a game, but it's still true. There's also at times a tonal balance issue, though I'm sure many longtime devoted fans would say the juxtaposition of an incredibly serious man murdering people in incredibly silly ways is just part of Hitman's charm. And I partially agree, but with that it does lead me to the story, and it's, interesting. The game begins generally. Agent 47 is working with Diana Burnwood to eliminate important targets and take down Providence. But then, your partner Lucas Gray is killed, and you must expose the ICA and all of its secrets, while also clearing the way for Diana to become the Constant. But it seems Diana has betrayed you, but then you're convinced that she didn't, and she's actually a double agent in a dream. I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't played every Hitman game of the last 20 years, or maybe the story just isn't that interesting, but I just don't care. I don't care why the person I'm trying to lure into the bathroom so I can drown him in the sink needs to be dealt with. I just want to deal with him. Maybe this is all to make us, the player, as cold-blooded and emotionless as Agent 47, just bouncing from murder to murder, killing without batting an eye. If so, 10 out of 10. If not, it's not a great story. But I don't care! I disguised myself as a man's lawyer, and when we were alone, I impaled him on the pen on his desk.
It's gone.
There are some other things that aren't so great. Graphically, there isn't too much improvement from 2016's Hitman. It looks fine, and it runs very smooth on a PS5, but overall, it's just not as impressive as it was then. And while the new levels are all well made, there aren't too many of them, so you're finished rather quickly. Now, Hitman 3 does serve as a hub for all 3 games, and if you have them on the platform, you can transfer your progress. But if you don't, they don't hide them from the menus, so it's just a bunch of stuff that I don't have. It would have been nice to include all the levels from the previous games, though I'm sure that there will be a Hitman Complete Edition coming very soon.
For money?
Which I would encourage anyone who hasn't played these games to get. And if you haven't tried these games, I kind of understand why. There is an inherent level of trepidation in every move you make. Will he see me? Can I go there? Who do I have to dress up as? And indeed, watching more experienced players set up convoluted plot points and traps to swiftly and elegantly murder an old lady is rather intimidating. Especially when comparing their plans to yours, namely shooting the guy in the face. But that's okay. There are more casual difficulty levels that are much more forgiving. And more importantly, Hitman is literally designed to be played again and again. There are so many achievements and objectives that they can simply not be done in one playthrough. So you're encouraged to keep trying. Be more creative. Attempt that one thing you thought was too risky. It just might work out. You might even find out what kind of Hitman player you are, and there are quite a few. There's the get in, get out, no fuss, down to business folks.
Are you serious?
Almost always. I was once called the worst audience participant Cirque du Soleil ever had.
There's the how can I lure them into the middle of the room and make the chandelier fall on them creative types.
Sometimes my genius it's almost frightening.
There's the completionist trying to use every tool and gain every achievement. And then there are those asking the important questions. Can I kill someone with a banana? Which Hitman are you? Going forward, IOI says that while the World of Assassination Trilogy may be ending, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of Hitman completely. Though it may be a minute before we see our old, bald, barcoded buddy again as they focus on their 007 game. Yet I think the best way to continue this series may be to return to the once hated structure of 2016's Hitman. Episodes. Ditch the story altogether and just deliver a steady stream of locations and targets. A Hitman arcade, if you will. Easier said than done, of course. But it may be a good way to keep our favorite murdering clone close to our hearts for years to come. Hitman 3 is a well-done ending to an incredibly polished and impressive series. From Paris to Miami to Dubai, the World of Assassination Trilogy has been filled with excitement, creativity, and silliness. And wherever the bald guy pops up next, we'll be first in line to lure someone into a grape crusher and smush them.
That's really gross.